thanks for watching 4-Color Commentary. I'm Mark Allen, and I'm here with a haul video. Just things that have been picked up over the last few weeks, and a couple of things that have been sent to me, and so I'm excited to talk about and very grateful for. And so we're just going to go through a few books. There's quite a few books here, and just going to go ahead and start with my very small new comic pickup. Well, some new comics and pickup, but my whole pickup at Comic Empire of Tulsa. Shout out to Kenny Hooker. Shout out to Kenny Hooker, the owner operator of Comic Empire of Tulsa. First is, and I'm stoked about these comics. They're a lot of fun. But Sit Comics is the publishing company. This is number 1, the Unbeatable Blue Baron. These are great. Love these, and I'm going to have to remember to hashtag the Sit Comics and Blue Baron and all that kind of stuff, because these are just a lot of fun. Very, very really cool throwback to the fun Marvel Comics age before things got quite so dark and before everything was a big event. And this is written, of course, by Darren Henry, pencil art by Ron Friends, and ink art by Sal Buscema. I believe the cover might be by Sal Buscema. It's when Friends is being inked by Buscema, it's kind of almost indistinguishable from Buscema's art, and that is because, of course, Friends has been was very influenced by Sal Buscema. So there's that. There's also Startup number 1. And again, I was looking forward to checking this book out. I like this character. She is a speedster. This one is written by Darren Henry also, but with art by Craig Rouzeau. We know him from we know him from Marvel Comics and DC Comics. I think Craig Rouzeau has done quite a bit of comic art in the past. I can't even think about particular characters or books, but I know he's done it, and just because I know the name. And then actually got. I asked Kenny to put this in my bag, and he did. It was this year's one of this year's free comic book day offerings. The Overstreet price, or the Overstreet Guide to Collecting Comics, and it has that Blue Baron, that awesome Blue Baron cover, punching out a bad guy there, and so cool stuff there. I wanted that cover, and I always like picking up the Overstreet Guide, whatever Overstreet offering there is for free comic book day. It's always a fun read. And then the back issues I got from Comic Empire, really cool stuff. Found another Spire comic I didn't have. Has writing on it. That's okay. Hard to find these Spire comics in like tremendous shape because they were actually read and they were actually used. But this was In His Steps, and so glad to have that one. That's one I actually did not have. And then a Worlds Unknown number 2. I actually have a copy or two of those, but that was a fairly nice copy, and so I wanted to have that, or at least I totally said the opposite of what I was thinking. A good reader copy, one that can go on the spinner rack, and it was $1 book, so it can go on the spinner rack. I have a nice copy of that, and so I like those books, and they're fun to read, and they'll be fun for the boys to read as well. And then, as I slowly work on this run, got another Hulk Marvel magazine. This would be the second to last issue. This is issue number 26, with that amazing cover that doesn't have any signature information on it. I'm sure the inside, this is going to be either a John Buscema painted cover or a Sal Buscema painted cover. Love that image though of the Hulk. Let's see what the inside says. Usually these gave the cover. Oh, okay. It is a big John Buscema. Here's the awesome pencil sketch by artist supreme Big John Buscema, which served as the basis for our pulse pounding cover. That's awesome. There's the sketch. Wonderful, awesome, amazing. John Buscema's art, and then there's the painted cover. Just great stuff. Love that cover, and love those magazines. All right. Always had beautiful covers on those magazines. All right, I'm going to go through some of these fairly quickly, but here's another Spire comic that I had not had, and this is Archie's Parables. again, beat the heck, but you know, I love these Spire books. Great, you know, they generally had Al Hartley covers, sometimes Al Hartley interiors, and so great stuff, lots of fun. Let me put this stuff away so it doesn't get. Okay, try to kind of keep track so I don't show you something twice. All right. Okay, this next one is a gimmick cover that I've been trying to get for a long time. Don't find it in the wild very often in my neck of the woods, and so when I did find it my wife and I took a trip to Branson a few weeks ago, just kind of a nice retreat time with some friends, with some new friends, and I found this one in Comic Force in Branson. I've talked about that place before, and this is a gimmick. This is a sensational Spider-Man gimmick cover that I've been looking for years, but you know, it always was one of those covers that went for a little bit more, $5 to $10 range on eBay plus shipping. Well, this one I got for $5, and it is the number 0 with the lenticular cover, the Ben Reilly Amazing Spider-Man or Sensational Spider-Man, and so I love that cover, and so finally had that cover in my collection, and I didn't mind spending the $5 on it, for one, because I hadn't ever found it in a dollar box, and for two, we were on vacation, and so it's kind of what you do sometimes when you're on vacation. You spend money on things, and it's okay. Now this next one, this is not a first appearance. This is a preview book, a first look at Clandestine. Now, recently this book became the first appearance of Clandestine, which was not in the miniseries from the 90s. It was in some other book. But this group, or their first appearance, became kind of hot. I think it's cooled somewhat. I didn't get this looking for a first appearance, because I knew as soon as I saw it, it wasn't, though it was a preview book. I got it for, you know, for the preview, but also there's usually other information in there and other goodies in there. There's some sketches, you know, some character sketches and such as that. There's very cool centerfold poster. Not that I'll ever take it out, but you know. But the coolest thing, well, here's the first of the awesome sketchbook inside, Alan Davis's sketchbook. And always liked Alan Davis's art. I discovered him in the late 80s when he was doing Detective Comics, is where I discovered him, I believe. And that's the first, that seems to be what my memory tells me anyway. And my memory, such as it is. Oh, got a bent corner in here, that's okay. Let me find, though, what was really the bonus whenever I got this, and this is a checklist, the definitive rundown of Alan Davis comic work to date. The date on this comic being, let's see, make sure, being 1994. So all of Alan Davis' professional work up to 1994. All that tiny print is all the works he did. I love stuff like that. I love artists' checklists, and there's more. He did a lot of work up to 1994. He still does work, obviously. But so anyway, I like stuff like that because it's generally you find a list like that, you find that an artist that you like, whose work you enjoy, worked on something you weren't aware of. And can't wait to go through that. I've only perused it to this point, but I will go through it some more here very soon. All right, let's talk about some 50-cent books I picked up at Shadow Mountain Comics this past weekend. There's a little bit of a stack here, so let me just dig them all out. And, well, okay. Be easier. I'll just go ahead and take them out like this. All right, here we go. First of all, I'm gonna go with the best first. This is 1957, Paul Revere's Ride. Now, has the half cover removed. This is obviously one of those books that some store got reimbursed for because it didn't sell, so they tore off the title part or the top half or the top of the cover, sent it back. But what this is the Disney comic Paul Revere's Ride, 1957, cover to cover Alex Toth art. And so for 50 cents, that was a no-brainer, partial cover or no. So really happy to have that. Next is just I did go after the indies. I like the indies, especially the ones no one's ever heard of, or very few people have ever heard of. This is Legion X2 or Legion 10. I'm not sure what it was called, but this is I believe this is a special. I'm not sure what number this is, but it is a I think a Silver Fox book. No, it's not a Silver Fox book. Grips Adventures. Oh, it's Grips Adventures Volume 1. Okay. And yet, it's interesting. It says Grips Adventures Volume 1, but the title is Legion X, or Legion 10, 2. So that's interesting. The indicia says Grips Adventures Volume 1, Number 1. Anyway, Grips does guest star in this, and there's a very cool double cover where he's confronting Legion X, or Legion 10. The artist, I don't know. I'm not familiar with the artist. What is his? Let me find the. Well, I can't find the artist's name, but it's not great art. It is an indie from the '80s, and so, but it's not the worst art I've ever seen. Kind of like the art halfway through, and kind of the different black and gray tones and such as that. So anyway, neat book there. Also found a book that I hadn't heard of before. I like grabbing these indie books just because sometimes they're fun reads. Every once in a while they're fun reads. Sometimes they're just kind of, my goodness, I can't get that back in there. Sometimes they're not such fun reads. They just seem so neglected though. And I can't help but think that one day people are going to look past Marvel and DC and some of these others, and they're going to look to some of these older properties. So yes, there's a little bit of a fun gamble speculation going there. Okay, and I'll gladly and unashamedly cop to it. All right, this is a book called Power Plays. I believe it was early 80s. This is 1983. Fall 1983 issue. It is black and white. It's Power Plays. Nice bright cover there. Really pops. And I'd never heard of it. And so it was as an indie book I'd never heard of. And has an interesting ad on the back, the Midwest's finest comic shops, Moondog's Comics. Never heard of them. But, this is from the early 80s. So there you go. All three of them in Illinois. Okay. So very cool there. I think I may use that. That may be my banner, even though it's black and white. That may be the banner for this video. That's very cool. And see if any of the old guys remember from that part of the country remember that comic shop. And actually found two of those for 50 cents a piece. So that's cool. I just can't pass up some of those indie comics because they are rare in their way, and when you find them in high grade, that's very cool too. I also found an issue of a book that I was aware of but had forgotten about for years, and it's Star Reach, and it's Star Reach Productions, I should say. It's a book from Star Reach Productions called Imagine, and got some Ditko art on the front, and also has, now it's black and white in the front story, and in the back. Okay, but those two black and white stories bookend a color story inset in there by Paul Levitz and Steve Ditko, copyright 1978. Very Doctor Strange-ish. This guy is obviously dealing in magic and the supernatural, and right away when you look at some of these images, you get a very much a Doctor Strange vibe. Okay, so very cool stuff here. And this book, Imagine, I think it went, I don't know how many issues it went, but it was an anthology book by some of the better artists and writers of the era. So very cool there. And what did I say? I don't think I said what year this was. This was 1978. So you are talking about very much a Bronze Age book, and very cool. Very cool. So there you go. Also found this cool with Neil Adams having just left us, and did find a book I wasn't aware of. There was a few of these 3D color classics by Wendy's, but you get into Wendy's Kids Meals. And they were retellings of classic stories. I don't know if you've ever heard of these. This was a first for me, but they are called 3D color classics. I don't know how the 3D works because they're mini comics. They're color interiors. I'll give you an example there of the color interiors. Neil Adams art, obviously. Not just Neil Adams, but Neil Adams cover. Okay, and they do have these glasses, these 3D glasses that supposedly give a 3D effect, and I don't really see it, but I have a lazy eye, so it may not be I may not be able to see it. Okay, but who's it say? It says the cast. Let's see, illustrators: Neil Adams, Rodolfo DiMaggio, Andres Klazik, and John Nyberg. I've heard of most of those. Nyberg and Adams, obviously, and I believe Rodolfo DiMaggio. I believe that's one of the Filipino artists. But anyway, so very cool there. And then another indie that just looked like it needed some love. Plus, it was a signed and numbered limited edition. Plus, it was in good shape, high grade. It's interesting because it is a newsprint cover, okay? Same as the newsprint inside, maybe just a little thicker, a little wider. But as Infinity Graphics presents, okay? And so, very, very much an amateur book featuring the Vital Man, New World Strike Force, Silver Lords, Sergeant Pilgrim, and the Immortal. So there's a shot of the cover there, and again, I like picking this stuff up. It's just fun, especially for 50 cents. There's the opening page there. Okay, and there we go. So some of it anyway. And then it is signed and numbered. It has all the creators' signatures above their names there on the front, and numbered just in ink pen. Okay, but kind of a cool book. There's the back cover shot. But again, a newsprint cover. The only other, I think I only have one other comic book, actual comic book, as a newsprint cover, and it's a golden age. It's one of those. I think it was True Comics. True Comics did those newsprint covers. Okay, I also filled in a hole. I filled in a few holes, but this is the hole I filled in my Normal Man. Normal Man number 10, and this is the one I actually don't know what comic this is aping. Every cover was an homage to some other comic, but I don't know what that was an homage to. All right, then I found this one, which is a first appearance. It needs a little bit of a press. Has one spine ding, but it's first appearance of Evangeline by Chuck Dixon and Judith Hunt. And so this is primer number. They've got the old price tag right over the issue number. So let me see. Open it up. Got to take the tape off anyway. Let's take that tape off. Get rid of that. And it is, well, it doesn't have the issue number on the cover. Strange. It just says premiere issue, special premiere issue. So volume 1, number 6. The indices says number 6, but there's no number 6 on the cover. Anyway, there's a better look at it. Primer number 6, the first appearance of Evangeline, with a very cool ad for the Hero Discovered Mage, the Hero Discovered on the back, coming from Kamiko. So there's a first appearance, I guess, pre-appearance of Mage, which those haven't started popping yet because nobody really cares about Mage, but that's one of those properties I'd like to see somebody take and make a movie. If you've never read Matt Wagner's Mage, you should. It's great stuff. Of course, Matt Wagner, the same guy who created Grendel, and if you haven't read it, you should pick it up. You can find it. It's not too. It won't. Excuse me. Won't break the bank, but great stuff. All right. I got to get moving along here. Okay, so Silver Star, number one. All of these, again, these were 50-cent books. Jack Kirby's Silver Star, number one. That is from the late 70s, I believe. No, early 80s. Early 80s. Let me check and make sure. I want to say, for some reason, 83 sticks in my head. And I was right. Number one, February 1983. It's so rare that I'm right about that. But that was very high grade, that I can remember dates, I should say. High grade, so 50 cents is great. And then there's this 2-issue series. I just thumbed through it. There's another one, another indie I'd never heard of. I just thumbed through it, and I had to get it. There's something about the covers and then the interior. I'm probably going to, well, let me see. I'm just going to go ahead and, but there's another reason altogether that I got this, because this book is December 1986, published by Animated Comics Enterprises, P.O. Box 354, Bethany, Oklahoma. Okay, so some of my fellow Okies produced this comic, which has a very much a golden age vibe. When you look at it is black and white. Look at the opening page there, and it's what is the face? I'm sorry, I should say what is the face. Now I thought this was going to, and here's issue 2. I thought this was going to be some type of a Mask ripoff, like the Mask, and it doesn't seem to be. Just from thumbing through it, he is more of a crime fighter, seems to be, instead of just a general clown that causes trouble. There's more than one art working on this. So here's one that really channeled a golden age vibe. Okay. So some of these indie books, they're worth checking out sometimes. So because they are very nice to look at, even if they don't read as well. Okay, but what is the face? I've never seen that before, so for me, that was just worth picking up. Okay, all right. I think that's all of the indies. Every once in a while, I like to grab a handful of indies, and like I said, when talking about Mage again. I would love to see a Mage movie done. I don't have very much hope for it because they're still on Marvel and DC movies, and don't get me started on Marvel and DC movies these days. The Marvel movies, I'm not even looking forward to Doctor Strange. I won't give my opinion, but I'm not, the things I've heard have not been good. What I've personally seen, I've checked out spoilers on YouTube. Not happy, not impressed. Plus, at the end of the first Doctor Strange movie, and I'm digressing here, but the end of the first Doctor Strange movie, what do we see? We see Baron Mordo going on a crusade because there are too many sorcerers. And it's like that's just been dropped for this multiverse mystery garbage. I don't know. But anyway, that was free. That was free. You're welcome. All right, picked up some Marvel Ages. Let's see, put these in some semblance of order here. Okay, and here we go. I've got Marvel Age 34, previewing some new G.I. Joe characters. Marvel Age 35, A Day in the Life of Marvel Comics. So very cool there. I love these Marvel Age magazines or comics. Marvel Age number 40, special preview of G.I. Joe Special Missions. Okay, like preview issues. Marvel Age number 56, more Meet the New Joes. Meet the New Joes. So, and then this is one I used to have. This is a classic burn cover, Marvel Age number 70, with the West Coast Avengers and She-Hulk at the beach. All right. And then another burn cover, Marvel Age number 81, highlighting Acts of Vengeance. I love that blue and pink cover with the villains in shadow. Just really very cool. And then, again, all of these 50-cent comics again. This is a mystery to me. I've got Ultimate Marvel Team Up, number 1, but one issue says number 1 and one says number 2. The same cover. I've looked inside, they're the same book, but now the number 1 is direct edition, while number 2 is the newsstand edition. Now I know that something similar happened with Quasar, the book Quasar, back in I guess that would have been the late 80s, early 90s, late 80s, where there was a number where it was a certain number that was delivered to the ones that were the issue that was delivered to the direct edition issues were one number, but that same issue was number 1 on the newsstand. So I'm sure it's something like that, but I don't understand why. So I don't know what came before the number 2 issue on the newsstand. So maybe if y'all know the mystery behind that, let me know. Okay. Filling another hole, Jack Kirby's Fourth World number 15. All right, filling a hole in my run, so I can finally read that very soon, and then I can finally read this series, which I've been waiting to read for probably close to 3 years. I got DC's The Mighty issues 5 and 6, and so I can finally. That was the last 2 I needed. I can finally read that book, or that series. It went 12 issues. All right, very quickly. I did pick up some of these Infinity Warps. I didn't even know what they were. They're kind of like the Marvel DC amalgam heroes, Infinity Warps. I know nothing about them except what's on the covers because I haven't read them yet. Weapon Hex. Okay. So obviously a Scarlet Witch Wolverine mashup, I'm going to guess. Arachnite. Okay. Soldier Supreme numbers 1 and 2. Went ahead and got Soldier Supreme numbers 1 and 2 because these were done by one of the Kuberts. So it didn't matter which Kubert brother did them. Kubert art is great no matter which brother. Okay. Ghost Panther number 1. There was a Ghost Panther number 2, but I thought, I just got the number 1. But it's the first appearance of that character, and that's good enough. And then a Stanley. I like the Stanley covers, or the tribute covers from 2018. It's Ironheart number 2, Stanley tribute cover. I like the heads-up display on Riri, even though I couldn't really give a whole lot about Riri. I don't even remember her last name. She doesn't matter to me, okay? But I like the Stanley tribute covers. So there you go. And then I got something I already had a copy of. I know you guys do this too sometimes. Every collector does this. A book that you either really like or you think is important. And this one I think is important. I actually did a rousing reference material video on this particular book. And this is 50 Who Made DC Great. It's a great, nice looking copy. Black is difficult, as you know, and there's the back. It's the black. This was, it's got a clean black back cover, clean black border on the front. This is just 50 people who made DC great. This was done for DC's 50th anniversary. Here's the first couple of pages. You got some classic covers there, and it talks about just different people who made the company what it is today, or what it was then, I should say, according to whoever published the book. This is opinion, but there are some great people in here. This was published in 1985, so great stuff there, and that was worth having for 50 cents. That's just a rare book. I don't see that much, and I've never checked to see what it's doing on eBay or anything like that, but I don't see it out there very much in the wild, and I've been digging through comics in the wild for a lot of years, so glad to have another copy of that. All right, now here's some of the stuff I was building up to. Recently, I was on Metarog's 15 Journey to 1,500 Subscribers live stream a couple of weekends ago, and I won an issue of the Avengers from Vinny at Oddball Comics. Check him out. Check out his channel, Oddball Comics. If I remember, I'll put a link to his channel in the description of this video. But anyway, it's Mighty Avengers number 69. It's the first cameo appearance of of Squadron Supreme. There you go, Squadron Sinister. Okay, but it's also another. I think it's another first appearance, but I honestly don't remember what it was because you know me and my brain. But there you go. It's a key, it is a key Avengers comic. And the main thing that I was into it for, was just thrilled to find out I won it, was for the first appearance of Squadron Sinister. So one of those back page first appearance, okay? First appearances. So anyway, really happy for that still. Thank you, Vinny, at Oddball Comics for that. Now, before that, I made a trade. If you remember one of my last haul videos, I had scored for $5. I'd scored a Golden Age Dolly. Was Dolly comic? I'm not into romance comics, but I know a lot of cats are out there, and so this was it was a really cool old romance comic. I could appreciate it for what it was. I just don't care for romance comics. But I was contacted by my good friend. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I just noticed something. Contacted by my good friend Mike at Night Tiger Comics, and arranged a trade with him. He asked me if I'd trade for it because he knew I'm not into romance comics, and I gave him some ideas of what I would take, what I would take for it. He included some notes and in here, and I'm gonna highlight it. I love this. Warning: with penalty of death, these comic books must solely be touched by Mark Allen after opening, or they will otherwise self-destruct. And so I appreciate you, Mike. I appreciate you issuing that warning so that my kids didn't, accidentally hurt themselves. And so something about my DNA, I suppose, touching those comics. And I'll show you what those comics are here in a moment. But I really enjoyed this note he put in. Beautiful. With some illustration on it and some color on it. For color commentary, thank you for making this trade possible. I can't wait to experience the romance comic. I'm glad I was able to offer you a couple Schomburg comics. Oh, gave it away. Enjoy Night Tiger Comics. Yes, he gave me my first 2 Schomburg covers, not counting the Invaders Annual from 1970, whatever. A Schomburg cover there. But he said, P.S. Your channel is one of the few on my must always watch and waiting on your content. Thank you, Mike. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Night Tiger Comics shout out. I'll definitely be also putting a link to his channel there, channel down in the description. But thank you for that. I appreciate it very much. And now, what did he trade? Well, I have a copy of Real Life Comics number 39. Amazing Schomburg cover. I love Alex Schomburg. If you're an Alex Schomburg fan, check out my video on him on my channel. Just search Alex Schomburg, his comics legend Alex Schomburg, and you'll find it. And so anyway, there's that, and he traded me that, as well as Fighting Yank, a standard comic. Fighting Yank number 29. Love the yellow background. Just Schomburg. Thank you, Mike. You made my day. But that wasn't enough for Mike. Mike had to send a bonus. Marvel free previews. Okay. And he knows I like the preview books and stuff like that, because this kind of stuff, it just has things. You can always go flipping through these and see things that you might have missed, that you might be interested in. I like checking out these old books. This one's just from a year or two ago, May 2021, so a year ago. But I appreciate that, Mike, and I will be looking through that because it's fun just to thumb through that stuff. But then he also sent me a legacy lenticular cover, because he knows how I like the lenticulars. This is She-Hulk number 159, and it is an homage to the Incredible Hulk number 115 with that leader cover there. And I love the lenticular work on that. That's just kind of, I don't know, man. Really like it. Even the back cover has the 3D look to it. And so, good stuff there. All right, great stuff. And I think I have finally made it through everything. This has been the longest video I've done in a while. Yes, that is it. That's it. You have now seen everything I've gotten over the last few weeks. And anyway, I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed looking at those books. And, if you like what you saw here and you haven't yet, like, subscribe, comment, and just come back and be a part of future videos. But we got a great comics community on YouTube. I'd like to see it just grow and get bigger. But anyway, we'll put those links down there, so check out those guys. And anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next video.